This company started with very basic natural gas dehydration products more than 53 years ago, but now is at the top of renewable energy development in 2020. With innovation at its core, their purification solutions are already leading the way at many CNG, RNG, and hydrogen facilities. Xebec Adsorption on the NGV World Podcast, Episode 26. Hello everyone and a very warm welcome to the NGV World Podcast. I'm your host Ricardo Carmona, and today we're going to have a very interesting episode because we're going to be talking about technology and what a very interesting company is doing about it. And we are talking about Xebec Adsorption and what they are doing. They basically, to give you a hint, they're working on many different realms, but basically working on everything that it's about dehydration, purification, gases, natural gas, hydrogen, and those two aspects are very, very into the 2020 trends. And this is why I want you to get into this episode. What Xebec is doing, it's really important to our industry and to the future of transportation, to the future of renewable energy. So before we start, let me tell you that you can find all the details about everything that we're going to mention on this episode just by visiting my LinkedIn article on this podcast, which is in my profile, to see all the links, pictures, videos, and all the contact info that you might need. Please don't forget to follow or subscribe on your favorite podcast app so you can receive notifications for our next episodes. And now, let's go to the main part of the show. Enjoy! Hello everyone, welcome to the NGV World Podcast. Today we have a friend with us. He is the sales manager for compressed natural gas at Xebec Adsorption Incorporated. His name is Daniel Routhier. Hello Daniel, how are you?
Hey Ricardo, I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Very good. I'm very excited that we have you here with us because this podcast, this episode, it's about something that it's maybe overlooked by many of us, that we have CNG stations and that we have CNG related facilities, and it's super interesting to me. So let's get into the topics, and please tell us more about yourself and how did you get into the natural gas business, Daniel?
So I joined Xebec back in 2016, now going on 5 years. Actually, when I started back in 2016, we were only about 50 employees, and now we're
Mm-hmm.
well over 160. So that's it's been quite the growth spurt in the past 5 years. So I'll just tell you a little bit about myself. So I started in parts sales when I started at Xebec. That's when I became
Mm-hmm.
familiar with compressed natural gas, industrial filtration. And in
Mm-hmm.
2018, I was appointed sales manager for the CNG division at Xebec, and I've been doing this ever since.
All right. What is that thing, Daniel? That what do you consider that is that thing that sparked your mind? That you know that it's something interesting that you're doing, something interesting that you're selling. So, in the overall picture, what is that drive that you find at Xebec Absorption?
Well, I was very surprised, to be honest, Ricardo, that a lot of people did not properly understand the importance of having filtration, having dry natural gas in the industry.
Mm-hmm.
So I just feel compelled to just share the information and tell people, and explain why it's important to dry to dry your natural gas.
That is very important that people know more about what is that happens if you have or don't have filtration on your CNG system, and obviously in the CNG system. But before going into that, what it will be? Tell us more about Xebec itself. How is been the evolution over the years, and give us an introduction at what all the things that Xebec does.
So Xebec has gone through a lot of changes in the past years. But just to give you some
Hmm.
background, so Xebec was founded in 1967. So it's actually
No,
counting more than 53 years of experience now in air and gas
great.
purification. So Xebec actually started in dehydration technology for natural gas. So that's been
Hmm.
our specialty, since the beginning. Then we developed a natural gas purification system, so essentially natural gas dryers,
Hmm.
in the 1990s.
Hmm.
So we've been doing this for over 30 years. Then in 2004 was kind of a breakaway year for us because we launched our renewable gas solutions. So
Hmm.
that's when we came out with new divisions at Xebec. So BGX for biogas and H2X for hydrogen. So both of these are purification solutions for biogas and hydrogen. Then we went public in 2009. So we became a
Hmm.
publicly traded company
Hmm.
on the TSX in Canada. We launched our natural gas filter line in 2014 and our natural gas vehicle filtration line in 2016.
Oh.
So all this to say that we've gone through many, many, you know, new chapters
Hmm.
in Xebec's history. And actually, this year, no later than this year, EDC, so Export Development Canada, recognized Xebec as one of the most innovative Canadian cleantech companies. And we also acquired multiple service companies since 2018.
Those are very interesting developments, and you guys seem like you have been adapting, of course, for to new technologies. Of course, adapting to compressed natural gas in the beginning, and biogas, and now hydrogen. It seems like a really innovative company, and it's innovation a core part of the business, Daniel, or you're more kind of dedicated to this established products and established technologies.
So Xebec has a very wide range of products. So we're a global provider of gas generation, purification, and filtration solutions. We touch the
Hmm.
industrial, the energy, the renewable sectors. As we have over 50 years in absorption technology. We're actually
Hmm.
offering, complete filtration and dehydration solutions for compressed air. So, if you go on our
Hmm.
website, you'll see our ADX line. We offer pretty much every type of compressed air dryers out there, whether it's a desiccant dryer, a modular dryer, or a refrigerated dryer. We offer all of those in our compressed air
Hmm.
line. Um, but we've invested actually more than $60 million in R and
Oh,
D for
oh.
our biogas division. We're doing a lot of research and improving our PSAs, or our pressure swing absorption systems, for the past 10
That's
years. We've
great.
invested tons of money. We really offer
Hmm.
everything that a customer may need in that sector.
That's very interesting, and very important that you guys are spending a lot of time and effort into innovation, into research, into development. That is impressive actually. And now let's go into the main topic, Daniel. Let's talk about our CNG stations. And I heard you mentioned not only uh, filtering or drying the natural gas at the entering of your stations. You're also talking about filtering the specific gas for the vehicles. So tell me in your perspective, when you go ahead with your customers, what is the basic, let's say, set of dryers or equipment, or is it only one equipment that you kind of offer to the basic CNG station that has a natural gas quality, uh, let's say, assured from the gas supplier company, and it's gas in okay conditions, let's say. What will be the suggested kit for that customer regarding what Xebec has to offer for any CNG station?
Okay, so I'll start with the filtration. So you need filtration pretty much all across the whole station. So whether it's before the dryer, before the compressor, and at the
Mm-hmm.
dispenser levels, we will propose multiple stages of filtration. You start with the coarsest filtration, so you can go with start with 10 micron, and you move up slowly, to
Mm-hmm.
3 micron, 1 micron, and at the dispenser level, we'll propose down to 0.01 micron filtration. So that will take care of any residual oil or dust particles
Mm-hmm.
that could be found in the gas stream. Now, there's another thing that needs to be resolved, of course, is water. Water cannot
Mm-hmm.
be removed through filtration, so that's where the dryer comes in. So, for compressed natural
Mm-hmm.
gas, the dryer comes before the compressor. So it's not the same as
Mm-hmm.
compressed air where the dryer goes after the compressor. For compressed natural gas, you
Mm-hmm.
need to put the dryer before. So what normally happens, Ricardo, our customers send us some operating conditions
Mm-hmm.
so that we can determine what type of dryers they
Mm-hmm.
require. So we call them inlet conditions. So
Mm-hmm.
inlet pressure, inlet flow rates, and inlet temperature, and inlet water content. These are the four key parameters that we require to be able to determine and calculate what type of dryers the
Mm-hmm.
customer will need. So, depending on these conditions, especially the water content, we'll be able to determine, do they require a single tower dryer that does not self regenerate? It could be a dual tower dryer, and it could be even up to a fully automated dryer that does not require any operators on site because the system
Mm-hmm.
will need to regenerate very, very often. So it could be every 12 hours, every 15 hours, or 20 hours. So you don't want to have somebody on site every single day
Mm-hmm.
to initiate a regeneration. So you'll have these type of automated dryers that will do all the work themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, definitely these are the four key parameters that everyone needs to keep in mind. That's what you're required to have
Mm-hmm.
to calculate which dryer you require at your site.
All right, so let's dive into the technical part about this dryer that it really interests me a lot. So when we're talking about humidity or this water that is, let's say, in the natural gas, I in many standards around the world we have this maximum allowable H2O that can be in the natural gas according to the standards, right? For example, in Mexico, the standard says that it should be below the content of water. It should be below 110 milligrams per cubic meter. Maybe you have another units around the world, but in that case, if I'm receiving the natural gas under below those conditions, can I say that it will be an okay condition? am I installing this dryer that you're suggesting me to move that value that it's currently, I believe that some reports that I've seen that we are maybe around 50 milligrams per cubic meters, or maybe below, to the decimals, let's say 10s, 20s, 30s milligrams per cubic meter. Is that an okay situation? Are we aiming at what level of H2O that will be recommended? All these questions or are we ensuring that maybe this H2O content is actually very variable? What will be the approach for us as CNG stations operators to understand this relation between what the standards are saying, what the basic natural gas that is coming in we have, and how would we handle that part, Daniel?
So we have very similar requirements in North America. So we have the ISO 15403 requirements
Mm-hmm.
that dictate the quantity of water that should be present in natural gas. So, but you need to keep in mind that this is water present in the pipeline. But if you're going to compress the natural gas, you're essentially acting as a sponge by compressing the natural gas. You're going to squeeze this water out and
Mm-hmm.
release this water downstream into into your compressor, into your dispensers, into the storage tanks of the vehicles. So it's very important to dry the gas, to bring it down to as low as possible. And you never know if there could be increases
Mm-hmm.
or just spot increases of water content. You need to be well protected and have a dryer before your compressor, um, just so you're guaranteed that you're not transferring this water along to the vehicles. I mean, water is very corrosive, as you know, and
Mm-hmm.
it just causes very very high maintenance costs and reduces the life
Mm-hmm.
cycle of all these vehicles. I mean, to keep in mind, essentially, a dryer is a
Mm-hmm.
purification system. So if you don't have a dryer, you're letting all of the moisture and all of the dust go into the compressors. It's risking to damage this super expensive component of a natural gas
Mm-hmm.
refueling station.
No, but is there any value of humidity that we're aiming for, Daniel, or are we trying to remove until what point of water? It's more of a question to see if I can get comfortable with the amount of H2O, of the amount of water that some gas streams of some suppliers are having right now. Is there a value that you are aiming for, like a cap of maximum uh, capability to remove water from the natural gas stream, or is it another way to look at it?
So essentially, our dryers will guarantee a water content of 0.5 pounds of water per
Mm-hmm.
million cubic feet. So essentially, that is what our dryers will bring the water content down to. It's about
Mm-hmm.
7 parts per million
All right.
of water content, or if you convert it to dew point, it's typically about minus 40 Celsius. So by removing this water, even if you compress a natural gas up to 3,000 or even 4,000 psi,
Mm-hmm.
you are not converting any of the water in vapor form into water. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why you need a dryer. If you don't remove that water, all of this water that's in vapor form, once you compress it, will turn into liquid water, and you're just going to be pushing this water downstream into your compressor and into
Yeah.
your storage tanks.
If you're enjoying this podcast episode so far, please go ahead and give us a 5-star review on the Apple Podcast app, which really helps us a lot and takes you only about 30 seconds. Also, you can leave me a comment on my LinkedIn post to let me know that you love this podcast. And now, let's get back to the show. And let's go now to that part. And I will ask you to, if you can tell us some anecdotes of what could happen and what have you seen. What is actually the cost of not having these absorption systems? And I'm talking more cost, and not in a in a price level or money level, but what are those components? What are those specific failures for those of us that we are in the natural gas compression systems uh, operation, and that what will be the components that will suffer the most, or what are those maybe some maintenance issues that that have you seen that you've seen over the years that are related to this particular uh, not not trying situation that you might be facing at your CNG station.
Okay, so essentially, I mean, our absorption systems, our dryers, we call them purification systems. So if you
Mhm.
do not have a natural gas dryer, you're letting all of the moisture,
Mhm.
first of all, but also all of the dust and dirt and particles that are present in natural gas naturally, you're letting them go mainly to the compressor because the compressor
Mhm.
goes right after the dryer.
Yeah.
So you're risking damaging the most expensive component of your refueling station. The water will also move, past the compressor. It'll move to all of your piping, so it'll cause corrosion in all your piping network, into your
Mhm.
storage tanks where you're storing your compressed natural gas, into your dispensers, and eventually into the vehicles themselves. So having these purification systems both helps extend the vehicle's life cycle, and it helps reduce the maintenance costs. So really, a natural gas dryer is really part. It should be an integral part of every refueling station all
and
across the world.
and to put our audience into perspective, Daniel, have you seen any station damaged? Can you tell us a story about maybe this specific situation that you solved, and you have like this kind of comparative situations that you have when this client had this corrosion at this point, or can you tell us maybe a story of how actually improved the life the lifespan of a station actually.
So we're actually very fortunate because in North America, the ISO requirements make it mandatory to have a dryer at every refueling
Mm,
station. So uh, we don't have any major issues because it is mandatory to have a dryer. But I can guess that
mm-hmm,
some other stations, in various countries that do not have dryers must have a lot of corrosion issues, and they must be wondering why they have so many issues. So the
yeah.
issue is actually I mean, the answer is quite simple. You just need to remember one thing. Um, all this water present in vapor form, once you compress it, turns into a liquid, and that's where your problems start. So
Mm,
that's the main thing you need to realize, and it's very easy to comprehend that once you have that, you're just going to have issues. Your liquid water
mm-hmm.
does not mix well with natural gas engines.
Yeah, yeah, of course it's something that you want to remove, and one of the things that suffer a lot is that friction part inside the compressions the compressor, sorry, I believe. And water should not be going around there, even if your compressors are not lubricated. Um, so you have an oilless contact, let's say, in your pistons and all that block, having water there, it's what I believe that can damage components that are being friction in that part, and having the liquid in there. Maybe what I believe it could do is that it reduces the lifespan of those seals, getting to the valves, and kind of um, uh, the lifespan gets reduced, and we can see some damages, and those might be affected, of course, of not having an filtration system that actually in one of our latest episodes with that I had the chance to talk with Mr. Tim Boyle. He actually can tell us that your maintenance cost could reduce at about 17% if you have a dryer system your CNG station, because that water causes that more friction, and having that components being replaced in less time than that it was expected. So you could reduce actually maintenance if you have the drying system. That is very interesting for us that we own or operate the CNG stations. And Daniel, how would you think? How would you say that when your station gets bigger and you get um, more CNG being delivered for maybe huge buses, facilities, or heavy duty vehicles, when your stations get really really big, how does that change the focus on the system that you are designing, Daniel?
So a lot of engineering firms reach out to us, Ricardo. So I mean, of course, we're Xebec
Mm-hmm.
being the manufacturer.
Mm-hmm.
We don't always have the full scope of what is required for the stations.
Mm-hmm.
Typically, engineering firms or packagers, as we call them, will match up a specific compressor to one of our units. We've been fortunate that Xebec has supplied many dryers at a lot of bus refueling stations, at a lot of airport
Mm-hmm.
shuttle stations all across North America. So we're very privileged to have our units at these key locations. The We offer a very wide range of units.
All right.
You'll see our systems are designed by pipe size. So we can start as small as half an inch pipe size up to
Mm-hmm.
6 or even 8 inches, which can accommodate a huge flow
Of course.
of natural gas. So the larger the station, the larger the dryer typically.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, the inlet pressure makes us choose different dryer models depending on those specs.
Right. And I wanted to segue maybe to the biogas part of the business, and and I'm gonna I'm gonna leave you for another question about the biogas designing that maybe I understand that you kind of have in other division at TBEC, but let's talk about those streams of natural gas that let's say pipeline streams that are actually receiving a mixture of let's say fossil natural gas that it over the years have been around the 95% methane threshold, but that they are actually receiving biogas and being injected. So there is a mixture of renewable and fossil natural gas in the pipeline. So what would be uh, that special consideration when we're receiving that mixture? Is that something that needs to be taken care of as it's happening over the years, and more biogas is starting to change the composition of the of the gas that goes into a CNG station, or is it, it does not have to be considered if you have a dryer already installed?
But absolutely, it's very important to consider if you're receiving RNG or CNG in your mixture. We're seeing a lot more demand in the last few years for RNG drying systems. So depending on the technology being
Mhm.
used to convert this biogas into biomethane, RNG will often have a higher residual water content, so it'll have a lot more water
Mhm.
present into the gas stream. And since this gas is
Mhm.
not as dry as normal CNG, normally you'll need to have a fully automated dryer that will regenerate every 20 to 40 hours. That is the main difference between RNG and CNG. That's where our units, we will select a different type of technology to dry, to dry the gas. Um, just to
Mhm.
let you know, Ricardo, so we've been
Mhm.
involved in many of the new RNG projects uh, that were developed in the U.S. and Canada recently. Uh, just to give you an example, we've supplied these fully automated what we call DTRA dry units
Mhm.
at multiple
Mhm.
dairy farms that are producing
Mhm.
RNG. So our units are being selected mostly, because they're reliable, they're low cost, but it's very important because they're autonomous. So there's no operator that needs to be on site to
Mhm.
ensure that the dryer is running well. And it's critical to remove the excess
Okay.
water from RNG as it has a lot more water content than your standard CNG from the pipeline.
Yeah, that's very important to know, Daniel, and to understand that as a more RNG it's going into the pipelines, uh, of course that quality is going to be alterated. So you have to take that into account, and it's super interesting to know that you guys are into also into assuring that the renewable natural gas that goes into the pipeline has quality. Can we maybe let's talk more about what do you think it's coming next? And I heard about hydrogen and all that you guys are developing. What do you think are going to be some interesting implementations, Daniel, for Xebec, some new technologies that are coming? What can you tell us about what to expect about Xebec?
So Xebec has a lot of upcoming projects, and we have a very strong balance sheet. So we're actually in an ideal position to grow our markets in the coming years.
Mhm.
As you know, despite COVID-19, Xebec has continued to
Mhm.
experience growth in 2020 in all the different
Oh.
business segments. Uh, in our industrial segment, focusing on compressed air products, we plan on
Mhm.
acquiring more and more service companies all across North America. So we're building a service
Mhm.
network um, to maintain all of our equipments. As you might have
Oh.
seen recently, we announced earlier this month that we acquired Airflow in North Carolina in the US.
Oh.
Um, in the clean tech segment, which has become our largest segment at Xebec, it's
Mhm.
continuing to expand. It's focusing on renewable natural gas upgrading. As you mentioned, on
Mhm.
hydrogen, we're doing carbon capture, we're doing gasification. We
Mhm.
launched the BioStream product in the last few months. This is a fully integrated
Mhm.
containerized system that is ideally suited for the small scale biogas facilities that have a biogas flow
Oh.
rate of 300 SCFM or lower. Well, this is the new baby at
Oh,
Xebec that will complement our pressure
the
swing.
biostream.
Yeah, the BioStream is our little baby. It complements our
All right.
larger PSA units that accommodate the higher flow rates.
And I believe that that biostream, how do you call it, the new baby, because of course it's dedicated to lower flows, let's say capacities. And is that a thing that is coming? Because what I've been what I've seen over the years is that, of course, biogas generation, it's been more focused on those plants or those facilities that are generating a lot of renewable natural gas, a lot of capacity. But I think that that is a thing that is coming, right? They know that the smaller scale biogas generators are starting to 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 move along with this business and recovering the natural gas. Is that a thing that is happening? And is are those going to be, from your perspective, an interesting part of the future? Those smaller scale generators, and so that's why you're tackling them.
Absolutely, Ricardo. So we were originally proposing through our PSA technology solutions for the 400 to 1600 SCFM flow rates, biogas flow rates, but we were missing
Hmm.
out. There's a lot of sites, a lot of smaller farms, dairy farms that
Yeah.
produce biogas, but in the 100 to 300 SCFM ranges. And Zebek did not have any solutions to propose to these clients. So right now, we invested a lot of money. We developed the uh, BioStream containerized solution. Everything fits inside one container, and
Hmm.
it's allowing these smaller farms or these smaller waste disposal sites to convert
Yeah.
their biogas into biomethane, and this provides them an additional revenue stream that they can resell this
Yeah.
biomethane, re-inject it into the pipeline.
Yeah. That's a wonderful thing to see the development over the years. Want to be following up on that as well, Daniel. And where do you see this to start wrapping up the interview? That's been so wonderful, Daniel. Thank you once again. But where do you see the company for the next years? What is that place that you see Civic uh, for the coming years?
So what's up and coming is really hydrogen. So we're actually focusing on having an internal discussion surrounding our hydrogen business in the
Yeah.
coming months. So there is a significant increase in interest in using hydrogen as a transportation fuel
Yeah.
and also
Of
as
course.
an energy storage solution. So we're actually blessed and very lucky to be well positioned in that segment, as we already have technology to purify hydrogen up to 99%. So this is really what
Oh.
our this is what we're seeing as up and coming in the next few years at Xebec, the growth of our hydrogen division.
That's great. We're gonna be looking at that closely, and hopefully being on board on that growth of the hydrogen market around the world. It's gonna be really amazing, Daniel. Well, that situation that you guys are right now, it's super uh, amazing for to be able to offer even your products, I mean, to even more clients every time. To I believe that you guys are actually aiming abroad. Is that one last thing that I could ask you is, how can people reach out to you, Daniel, if they want to know more about Xebec absorption and all the filtering and drying that we talk about today? What will be the channel? And if you could add in that regard, if you guys are supplying to any part of the world, you guys are focused on maybe some continent or another one, is that I think maybe to mention, Daniel. So give it the word to you, to the final word to our listeners.
So Xebec is a global provider for dehydration and filtration solutions, compressed natural gas, compressed air, specialized gas purification. So thinking of argon, helium, all these gases,
Mm-hmm.
and filtration. Uh, Whatever you need, you're always welcome to contact our team of experts or visit our website. So it's
All
xebecinc.com.
right.
And I wanted to thank you, Ricardo, for just being an amazing advocate of clean burning natural gas vehicles. It's definitely, right now, it is definitely the most accessible technology available today to reduce vehicles' carbon footprints.
Thank you very much, Daniel. So there you have it, guys. CNG.com. You can find them online. Reach out to Daniel through their contact information. And it's been a pleasure, Daniel, to share this conversation with you. I wish you the very best luck, and with CB Adsorption around the world. And you know that there is the conversation open uh, for our next time. So thank you very much, Daniel, once again, and hopefully we will meet once again. Thank you.
Thank you, Ricardo.
Bye bye.
Bye.
So there you have it, a really interesting episode with Xebec. And now please don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast app so you can get notified of our next episode. See you next time. Stay curious and stay safe. Bye bye.